Good evening. You're watching Late News Tonight. I'm Luke Clary. Thanks for being here with us. And we continue to track breaking news tonight. Tonight, residents in Point Pleasant near the Elk-Grove area are under evacuation orders. Emergency officials warning that the flooding in that area is imminent. ABC 10's Alicia Machado has been in the area tracking this for us all evening.
Cars looking more like boats traveling down roads in the Point Pleasant area hours before emergency officials expect even more water to flood the area.
This is a road that we drive on regularly, so it's kind of crazy to see it filled with water.
Residents told to evacuate Sunday before dark.
We weren't super worried until then the police officer came.
But Point Pleasant resident Tiffany Musling and her family ultimately deciding to stay.
We want to make sure everyone's safe around here and the people that need to get out can get out, but we are just riding it out.
She says she and her neighbors have experienced flooding in the area before.
Water came all the way up into our driveway, and everyone else out here is pretty high on foundation, so I just think it's a personal choice. The year it did evacuate, we helped some friends, my husband and a couple other guys on the street. They were covered in water. I mean, their foundation, everything inside their house was floating.
Sacramento OES saying floodwaters are dangerous after sunset. Even before then, some roads already flooded. Franklin Boulevard is just one of the areas seeing major flooding. The water almost up to my knees as I'm in these waders, and more water continues to flow in. Some cars are still, though, choosing to drive along flooded roadways. One car, as you can see in the distance, partially submerged. Sacramento County expecting water that flooded the Wilton area Saturday to flow down to Point Pleasant late Sunday night.
In 2017, we had the same scenario where we had flooding in Wilton, and then a day or two later, the water ends up showing up here in the Point Pleasant area. In 2017, we had a situation where at 3 a.m., we ended up having to see people being rescued because floodwaters hit the area and people weren't ready.
Sacramento County says a monitor at Benson's Ferry hit flood stage Saturday morning, so they knew the area would eventually flood.
So we first were getting notifications on our phone saying okay, evacuation warning. And then we were watching on the news how there was flooding over there by Dillard. And so then I think that's when we kind of were like, all right, let's kind of start preparing.
Elisa Perez and her family putting up sandbags, then deciding to pack up and go. Their final affirmation to leave, seeing this.
On this road, so it's really close to our home. So I think this is kind of we're okay, we're going to get out of here.
Our Alicia Machado reporting. Now here's a look at SMUD outages, still reporting more than 12,000 without power. Hardest hit, Midtown, South Sacramento, Carmichael, and Rio Linda. And thousands are without power across Northern California right now. Here's a look at PG&E's outage map. For many, there is no estimated time for power restoration. And new tonight at 11, for more than 24 hours, a West Sacramento senior living community has been without power. The residents include people who rely on electricity for medical devices, cooking, and just navigating the hallways. We caught up with West Sacramento Mayor Martha Guerrero, who shared her concerns about the situation with ABC 10.
This is what we have.
With power down since 8 o'clock Saturday night, residents struggled to navigate the dark hallways of Margaret McDowell Manor.
It's the residents that are taking care of each other, and that's what's going on.
The situation has West Sacramento Mayor Martha Guerrero concerned.
Even if it was just a few hours, there is life-sustaining equipment for people, oxygen and other types of equipment for individuals that need to have some kind of power to keep it going.
Using flashlights, volunteers and community members making the rounds to ensure that everyone is okay.
Food is on its way.
Oh, they just delivered.
Oh, cool.
And that everybody has something to eat.
Because they can't cook. They have no electricity to be able to cook their own meals.
The mayor says Margaret McDowell should be equipped with a generator for such situations.
I would like to make sure that this doesn't happen again. I would like to make sure that there's a backup generator and that places like this where they rely on electricity to have the support they need if the electricity is out. And I'm really disappointed to see that this is happening to fragile individuals of our community.
We've reached out to management at the senior living community, but their office is closed for the weekend. It's something that we'll continue to monitor. Meanwhile, this is out of East Sacramento, a tree down on the area of 41st and D Streets. One of several trees down across the area in the wake of last night's storms. Now we're dealing with the impact of what came this weekend and looking ahead to more. Meteorologist Brendan Minchef joining us now.
Yeah, so flooding is something that we're still watching, as you just heard from Alicia there at the top of the show. But there's more rain to come even after that. So taking a look at the floodwaters that are moving their way southwest right now. In the Wilton area, talked a lot about that about 24 hours ago. I was worried about levees breaking, and indeed some did. And now that water is working its way down the Cosumnes across 99, making its way towards I-5 in the Point Pleasant area. So if you're in this general vicinity of Point Pleasant, there is that evacuation order as that water continues to track to the southwest. So that is definitely something that we're going to continue to watch. Looking at Snodgrass Slough at Lambert Road, that is near Point Pleasant. You can see it is now up to 15 feet. The slough water is rising still. The record high is about 16.5 feet, and it is going to get pretty close to that, if not above it, as we work through the next few hours. 44 right now for a current temperature in Sacramento, 47 in Elk Grove, 49 in Fairfield, 42 in Jackson, 41 in Placerville at this hour. And from the Gilmore backyard, it is 44 degrees. Winds out of the northeast at about 10 miles an hour, though. It is making it feel a little bit chillier. It feels like 40 degrees outside right now. We got a lot of rain on December 31st. Sacramento executive, 2.12 inches of rain. That ties the daily record set back in 2005. Downtown Sacramento got 2.37 inches, not quite the record set back in 1890 of about 3.25. But Stockton and Modesto each blew the other records, well, no pun intended, out of the water with the amount of rainfall that they saw, about 2.85 inches in Stockton, 1.37 inches in Modesto. That was only on December 31st. That is not even the entire total for the storm. Snowfall totals over the last couple of days: 52 inches here at Tahoe, 39 inches, Tahoe Donner, Sierra Snow Lab 34 inches, and at the Sierra Snow Lab they recorded snowfall rates of about 7.5 inches an hour. That is a lot of snow to fall down all at once. 48 in Sacramento tomorrow, 48 in Elk Grove, 49 Stockton, 48 Modesto for high temperatures. But check that out, the rain is coming back tomorrow. Not as much rain as what we saw the last couple of days, but still, it is going to be an issue for areas that have already seen flooding. And not only that, but we're also looking at a chance of snow as well. So we're in the midst of a very wet pattern, and we'll talk more about that later in the show, Luke.
Yeah, more to come. Thank you, Brendan. And despite the break in the rain today, floodwaters turned deadly this morning in Sacramento County. Rescuers found one person dead in a car swept away in floodwaters near the Cosumnes River. It happened south of Elk Grove off Dillard Road near Highway 99. And ABC 10 reporter Brandon Rittiman went to the scene for us.
As bad as things look on Dillard Road this evening, you have to imagine it was even worse earlier today. When we first got here this morning, the water level was all the way up to the roof of the pickup truck that you see in the shot right there. So imagine those conditions when rescuers finally got in there by boat to look for that missing person, looked into the vehicle and found the driver was sadly still inside.
The individual was recovered from a vehicle that was completely submerged in water.
Firefighters never want to lose anyone, but one look at Highway 99 makes it clear many more people could have died here today. More than a dozen cars got caught in water rushing across the highway.
We rescued dozens of people over the last 24 hours from the rooftop of their vehicle or from the bed of their pickup truck when it became impossible for them to rescue themselves.
Sacramento County confirms levees near the Cosumnes River breached in 3 places. Those levees likely weakened by floating debris in similar floods that happened here back in 2017.
This is my second time going through it, so I'm fine with it. I mean, if I have to sleep on the roof, you sleep on the roof.
Dronell Ferguson and his son Cameron spent the morning trying to clear the private road to their house and a few of their neighbors. Luckily, their homes are on ground that's just high enough.
I'm feeling blessed that my house didn't get soaked.
Plenty of neighbors around them didn't have the same good fortune. And all this water, it's not done causing problems yet.
Fast-moving water is still moving through Sacramento County. The hazard is not gone.
In Point Pleasant, closer to I-5, the sandbag station had a lot of visitors.
I wasn't expecting this weather, so I knew it was going to rain, but I forgot how crazy it gets. So
Stephanie Lopez was expecting to spend the holidays shooting pool with her family. Instead, she's helping sandbag her grandparents' garage. Now you get to do this.
Yeah, no, not a bad way to spend my Sunday. The new year, right? So,
It's a fun family activity.
yeah. Nice bonding experience.
With evacuations in place, they plan on staying elsewhere tonight. Rescuers would love it if more people did the same, or at least
Seek high ground when you're asked to do so, and do not drive on flooded roadways.
meantime, everyone wonders, how many more days of this are we in for to kick off 2023?
I hear we're supposed to have, 15 more days of rain? So with 15 more days of rain, hopefully some of this goes away and hopefully it's not as bad as it was yesterday.
Now this car, you can see, got washed out into the middle of a field right here, sort of an impromptu lake that is feeding into Highway 99, still running across the highway. Caltrans saying that Highway 99 is expected to be closed until at least tomorrow, possibly late in the day.
Brandon Ritteman reporting. Now, Sacramento Metro firefighters have been rescuing stranded people since last night. One person was rescued after their car was washed off the road and trapped in cold water. This video coming to you from the cockpit of Copter 1. The victim had to be hoisted up and then was transported to the hospital in critical condition. And just a few hours ago, rescue crews found a person in the water pressed up against some trees. They had to lift that person to safety. This video shows the crew returning with the victim to be transported to the hospital. And remember to download the free ABC 10 app so you can track the weather anytime, anywhere on your phone. You can also submit your weather videos and pictures on the app to be featured on our show.